Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Momentum Showcase. I am Chris Pagano. I'm our Director of Venture Acceleration here at Matter, and I am just ecstatic to have the opportunity to share with you some of the startups that we've been working with extensively for the past several months. You are in for a treat to see what they are bringing to market. You know, since Matter's inception, we've really just been on a mission to accelerate the pace of change in healthcare. We really believe that forward progress in healthcare in this country occurs at this intersection between exceptional entrepreneurs, like some of the ones you're going to see here shortly, and the large incumbent buy-side organizations who we have the good fortune to work with as well, who can help bring those solutions forward, help bring them to market, and ultimately do what we all want to do, which is help get them into the hands of patients where they can do a lot of good. Over the course of our history, we have worked with over 850 startups to really develop their offerings and their capabilities, help them to come to market, including helping them to raise over $5 billion to really fuel that growth. And we've worked with over 130 large incumbent organizations as well, health systems, life sciences companies, payers, helping them to innovate more effectively as well. Over the last couple of years, we've now actually launched our exclusive accelerator, Momentum, and we really focus in on providing robust and rigorous programming to those who have the good fortune to participate in this program. This is led by two of our brilliant venture fellows, and they're entrepreneurs in their own right here at Matter, Pam York and Jason Smith, who you will be hearing from here in a bit as well. So Pam is a successful entrepreneur and venture capitalist. She started 2 venture-backed startups. She's launched a venture fund. She certainly has over, the last decade or so developed a huge program in her own right for leadership development. And I know that the startups who have had a chance to work with her have really benefited from her expertise. Jason, in his own right, has also exited several companies over the last 20 years or so. He's been building companies. He has had a fund as well of his own. He exited his most recent company, Armark Bio, which at one point was actually a Matter member in and of its own right, to Within3 in 2021. And he has the opportunity to serve as their CTO as well. So all of our startups have been working with these 2 brilliant individuals over the course of this program. Again, you're going to hear from them directly as well. This cohort that you're going to hear from are 6 hand-selected startups who we think really disproportionately are positioned for rapid growth. And they, like I said, have gone through structured programming designed to systematically step through 4 critical pillars of success, really shoring up operations, expanding their sales apparatus, establishing advisory boards, and ultimately planning to exit their startups as well. I would be remiss if I did not mention that in addition to getting an opportunity to work with Pam and Jason, we've also had a terrific group of healthcare executives who volunteered their time, were willing to bring their considerable expertise to bear for this cohort and really help them to advance their businesses. So while there's just too many to possibly name, I want to take a moment for those who may be listening to thank you for everything that you brought to this program. We certainly could not have done it without you. And first and foremost, let me also say to Pam and Jason, I can't overstate how much we're thankful for your leadership, not just in this program, but in everything that you do with us here at Matter. For the remainder of the session this afternoon, you are going to be having the treat of hearing from our MC, which is Elle Hauser, who leads the Momentum program. Each of the companies in the cohort will present their companies, and then finally, Pam and Jason will close things out. So with all of that said, Elle, I'll invite you to the stage. Take us away.
Great. Thanks, Chris. And thank you everyone for joining us today as well. As Chris mentioned, each of the 6 startups will be pitching today. They have a 10-minute pitch. So without further ado, we'll kick off the pitches. And up first, we have Molly from Junum.
Thanks, Elle, and welcome everyone. Happy Halloween. I'm Molly Hegarty, founder of Junum. I'm a former Intel engineer turned nutritionist, and Junum is a digital health company that helps doctors identify and treat nutrition issues in hospitalized patients. Our mission is to put nutrition on the forefront of healthcare using technology. And although you've probably never thought about malnutrition, it's a huge problem affecting more than 12 million hospitalized patients in the US each year. That's 1 in 3. And what you don't know is that malnutrition is more than just someone who hasn't eaten. Diseases like cancer and kidney disease cause malnutrition. So does food insecurity and many other issues associated with elderly patients. You can be overweight and still be malnourished. The root cause is an imbalance of nutrients that prevents patients from getting the nutrition they need to heal. And malnutrition is a canary in the coal mine for hospitals that struggle to deliver high quality care in very sick patients. And because it's a complicated diagnosis, it's often missed. These malnourished patients cost a lot more for hospitals to treat, and they cause big quality headaches for administrators and clinicians. Not only are malnourished patients in the hospital longer, they're more likely to be readmitted, leading to poor quality scores and high costs. At Junum, we can help solve this complicated problem using our malnutrition CDS technology to help physicians recognize and treat malnutrition quickly and more effectively. So, after a patient enters the hospital, identifying and treating malnutrition is a multi-step process that involves the whole care team. But for many reasons, it can be missed. I saw this problem firsthand when I changed careers from engineering to nutrition. Physicians weren't looking for nutrition problems, and it was a struggle for them to coordinate care with the dietitians who are the subject matter experts. Millions of patients each year fall through the cracks, and there's a big opportunity to improve care using nutrition. From my unique vantage point as an engineer turned nutritionist, I realized that software could help physicians coordinate with the care team, make an accurate diagnosis, and that hospitals would get paid a lot more for these sick patients. I set out to build tech that works for clinicians instead of creating barriers to patient care. Junum's malnutrition clinical decision support software is a solution to a complicated problem. Our customers are acute care hospitals, and our target market is small and medium-sized health systems who are looking to improve patient care and revenue, but don't have the resources or expertise as large academic medical centers. Our users are clinicians, physicians, dietitians, and hospital administrators. And our software helps doctors identify and treat more patients, which in turn drives revenue to hospitals to solve these problems and more. And we have the data to back up all the results. And that allows hospitals to actually quantify the value of delivering nutrition care. We offer a strong ROI to our customers, and we help them actually make money. Right now, nutrition care is considered a required cost center. We help hospitals turn nutrition care into a revenue-generating quality improvement powerhouse for the entire system. And when we do this, we get happy clinicians who can now treat their patients sooner, and we get happy administrators who are improving overall quality and generating new top-line revenue. We turn this required workflow into a big win for patients and their care teams. Our solution provides clinical decision support, and it integrates with leading electronic health records, including Cerner and Epic. And the data is fully interoperable, meaning it can follow the patient when they leave the hospital. You can see our physician rounding tool here on the left, how much easier it is for physicians to see what's happening. We use our Smart on Fire technology to pull all of the critical information into views automatically, and it's only 2 clicks for physicians to drive nutrition care. Our software has 3 workflows. Number 1, dietitians conduct a nutrition assessment of the patient. Number 2, we help physicians diagnose appropriately and create a nutrition care plan that can follow the patient outside of the hospital. Number 3, we have robust analytics to guide the entire population level data in the hospital. And the value here is massive, both from a clinical and a tech perspective. Clinicians are using best practices, and it's repeatable across service lines and facilities. Then we have scorecards and management data, and it's structured in a way that actually makes sense, not only for humans, but for data exchanges and AI. We own the recommendation engine for nutrition clinical decision support, and we use our proprietary data to link the care decisions with patient outcomes. And this is so unique because not only does it help an individual patient, it helps population health across the board. And it allows hospitals to show the value of their food as medicine programs from inpatient to home. Doctors love our tools because they actually help streamline patient care without adding administrative burden. Our tech is smart enough to give doctors the information they need at the right time in the right workflow. And diagnosis rates double in less than 90 days in efforts that used to take several years of clinical training and IT build to achieve. And you can see here, doctors at a 300-bed hospital identified more than 1,000 patients each year that would have been missed, resulting in better care, as well as financial impact. At this same partner hospital, not only do we double the number of patients treated, we help hospitals generate new revenue related to malnutrition care. In this case, it was almost $2 million in new revenue, which is so important in the current market conditions of high costs and low margins. We also provide a quarterly scorecard meeting with our expert team to review the clinical and financial performance with our partners. So we engage our customers in the process and show the value of nutrition care and our technology. We have significant product traction because we are clinicians building products that we believe in for other clinicians. And our data set shows the clinical and financial value for our customers, including really high product utilization that continues to increase over time, unlike a lot of digital health solutions where engagement drops off. And this translates to sales. Our customer base is growing quickly. We've signed 3 customers this year with a contract value of $1.5 million. We're anchored by a partnership with Ochsner Health, the largest health system in Louisiana, and we've been growing rapidly across the Southeast and Texas. We're a B2B enterprise SaaS company, charging a one-time integration fee and a recurring annual software fee. And these are sticky multi-year contracts. We've learned how to sell to our customers with regulatory tailwinds and verified financial impact. Recently, we've closed deals in 2 different states completely remotely, from cold call outreach to software integration, and we're fundraising now to hire a sales team since we understand the key metrics around our sales process. We've got more than 32 qualified hospital prospects moving to our sales pipeline with a total deal value of more than $7 million per year. And right now we're focused specifically on scaling our malnutrition CDS solution, but this is just the start of our company journey because we're hearing even more needs from our customers. Since we know that doctors will use our tools and that we can articulate strong business cases, and we already have the moat of EHR integration, we can build more products and expand quickly. We've done the hard work of EHR integrations, and this is where 99% of digital health companies go wrong. And we've got a solid nutrition-focused value proposition that our customers really want to buy. So we can expand our product suite and leverage data and our tech interoperability. We own the recommendation engine for clinical decision support around nutrition, and we use our data to link the care decisions with patient outcomes, making us valuable not only in fee-for-service, but for value-based care as well. We are a category builder for food as medicine, a market estimated at more than $35 billion in the coming years. And we believe that our approach to solving interoperability and our proven traction with organizations taking on risk will position us well as these markets expand. We have all of this momentum because we're a team of rockstar clinicians turned technologists. All of our key staff have been in our customers' shoes as clinicians, as IT staff, and as hospital leaders. So we build tools with strong value propositions that our users love. My co-founder led product at one of the largest food and nutrition hospital-based software companies in the world for more than 20 years and is an industry leader in healthcare interoperability and nutrition informatics. Along with our engineering talent and clinical expertise, we also have strong operations and finance support behind the scenes. And a lot of great institutions trust us. All of these folks are supporting Junum on our mission to own the digital nutrition space. We're looking for investors to join our $500,000 convertible debt round, and we've already closed $250,000 of that. We have a solid handle on our costs and margins as we grow with a strong multi-million-dollar sales pipeline. And remember, we have multi-year contracts, so we already have revenue booked in 2025. And we can grow the company and exit to strategic buyers. And we've been building those partnerships for several years already with large multinationals to increase their sales and technical product capability. We're on a path to profitability, and this positions us well to be able to exit within 5 years as the strong valuation as the market continues to improve. With that, I'd like to thank the entire Matter team and everyone in the audience for tuning in. and we appreciate any support in the form of customer introductions, funding, and partnerships. So please reach out and contact me, drop into the breakout room later for more information. And thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Molly. And up next, we will have Samer from LiveMed Telehealth.
Hello, everyone. First off, I'd like to say I'm really blessed to be here, to be able to present to everyone. So welcome. I am Dr. Samer Siddiqui, founder and CEO of LiveMed. We are a comprehensive digital health solutions company that is shaping up to revolutionize rural hospitals in America. And we're doing that by providing specialists using digital health solutions. A little bit about myself. I've been a practicing physician out of Chicago for the last decade, primarily focused on rural hospitals as well as community hospitals. I do like to consider myself as a little bit of a techie as well. I've been a part of a couple of startups before, but I'm extremely excited about this one. Our start was it was conceptualized in unfortunate times. As we all know, the pandemic has been an extremely tragic times for us, particularly for myself and my family. It was extremely difficult. A few weeks before the pandemic hit us, my brother ended up being diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia, which had a really poor prognosis. So we were already staying at the hospital, and then the pandemic hit. So in the day, I'd be trying to save COVID patients in the front lines, and then I'd go in and spend as much time as I could with my brother. And I saw all the cracks in healthcare from two different perspectives, from the physician side as well as the patient side. And we, as the months went by, we instituted at my institution what I call the MacGyver version of digital health. We basically put iPads at nurses' stations, and it was simple, it was scrappy, but hey, it worked. We had specialists available at a click of a button, and we had faster patient care and good outcomes as well. And then I'd go see my brother. Unfortunately, he had a complicated hospital stay. And I used to tell myself, okay, I wish we had a specialist that's available right now to kind of just evaluate him, at all times. And that's where the idea was conceptualized. Luckily for us, we were blessed. I was 100% donor match for my brother. He ended up getting a transplant, and fast forward 4 years later, he's doing well, he's doing fine. Once things settled down from a COVID standpoint, as well as from a family standpoint, I had the roller coaster of emotions kind of sparked a fire inside me. And I said, okay, there has to be a way to do this better. And let's take a shot at trying to address these problems in rural healthcare. The problems in rural healthcare, they basically stem from provider shortages and limited access to specialists, because they can't retain patients. They can only see a focused number of patients, and they can't see higher acuity patients. On top of that, the technology, they can't afford the technology, and so their technology is dated. So when we were going about trying to address the solution, we had to make sure that we had to hit both fronts, the physician front as well as the technology front. When looking at the digital technology that we had today, we saw several issues with that, with integration issues. The cost was super high. They were bulky and inefficient, and they weren't really focused for rural healthcare the way I would see it work. And so that's where we decided to focus on both. And we went ahead, and this is a high level of what we are doing. We have a pool of our own multi-specialty physician group. We're at 41 physicians right now, over 9 specialties. We provide a technology cart that is significantly cost-effective and superior functionality to these small rural community hospitals. And then, because one specialist is covering several different hospitals, we did have to come up with a solution that can increase productivity, and provider communications had to be a key component in this, dealing with several different hospitals. Just I'd like to introduce our technology card, which is called EMMA. It's Electronic Medical Mobile Assistant. We had to come up with it to be a standalone device, although it can be integrated into Cerner and and Epic. But it is a standalone device, and it comes with 5G powered. The beauty about this is that the hospitals don't have to have any infrastructure, or we don't have to depend on any of their infrastructure or current technologies. It's a standalone thing that comes with internet, and basically it makes the process a lot easier. Now, in order order to make lives easier for our physicians and get higher productivity, patient provider productivity, and good patient outcomes, we had to we're currently developing a product called Virtualis. It is an AI leveraged clinical communication tool. And as on the left, as you can see, current paging systems are, you can get several pages just time-based. One can be about, hey, I need something for a headache. The other one could be patients having chest pain. What this product primarily is there to do is to prioritize higher acuity pages first, so the doctors can address that first. And then it improves patient outcomes and provider productivity. What's unique about this is that it's being built on a really strong LLM platform that's currently being used by University of Chicago, but it's being refined by our own proprietary data set, which is provider to provider communications. We're really excited about that as well. We couldn't be here if it wasn't for our team. Our team is heavy clinical as well as heavy tech, and we're in innovations as well, and as also startup experience as well. And this is the reason why we've gotten so much traction so fast. The market size, due to the pandemic, telemedicine has skyrocketed. Outpatient telemedicine has been saturated, but the inpatient hospital telemedicine market is just about to take off. And it's going to be about 18.2 billion in a couple of years. Now, with the advent of AI, clinical communication tools are also catching on, and they're going to be also about 5 billion in a few years. Our target market is small to medium-sized hospitals, which is about 4,800. Out of that, we're planning to capture about 5%. And then for live med portion, and then for the Virtualis, because it is a SaaS product and we do want to expand it across the United States, we're trying to capture about 10% with about 40 million in revenue for that and 60 million for live med services. So the reason why we had to come up with our own technology solution is that we had to make it significantly cost effective so that there's no barriers to entry into these smaller hospitals. It had to be standalone. And at the end of the day, if these hospitals can have the ability to see higher acuity patients, it's going to increase the financial health for the hospital, and as well in that area, improve patient quality, healthcare quality, as well as patient outcomes. And hospitals do not have to buy in or have any new infrastructure for adopting our solution. Last few months have been extremely exciting. We've closed a lot of deals and contracts as well as pilots, with the largest one being a group that has about 50 hospitals in its network with 20 different states. We're starting out with 3 hospitals there. Our revenue projected ready for end of 2024 will be approximately 3.2 million. We are also currently in talks with some other clients as well, have a larger hospital network as well. Extremely exciting times. Our revenue projection is based on acquiring 7 new hospitals every year, but we do plan to launch Virtualis Q2 of 2025 once it's been trained on our proprietary data set. And the gold bar is the Virtualis plus specialty services model. Our business model is pretty simple. We have our physician services where we don't charge the hospital anything for the physician. We just keep all the virtual medicals. We bill the virtual medical services. We keep 100% of that. We have a revenue share model with the physicians where we give them 65% of that. We are trying to get our margins up to 25 to 28%. For our technology part, we have our technology cart that's initially 6 months complimentary, and then a very low, significantly low technology cost for 2 versions of our cart. And then Virtualis, as I mentioned, will be launched in Q2 of 2025, and we are also trying to get net margins of 20-25% on that as well. Market competitors, there's very few companies that are doing what we're doing right now, where we have tech, software, as well as a pool of our own physicians. The bigger guys, I do like to call them a doc in a box. Our biggest differentiator in this is that we're a bespoke model, and we do have a dedicated virtualist that we do assign for each hospital. So it's not going to be a random specialist. And then we're significantly cost effective when it comes to that. For Virtualis, we're extremely excited about that because there are a lot of clinical communication tools out there. They're currently not using AI. There are companies that are dabbling into it, but I do feel as if we do have a level up with our LLM model as well as our proprietary data set to execute Virtualis. Our ask, we have a clean cap table. Everything's been bootstrapped right now. We did not want to raise funding until we had solid traction, and now it's time to get some funding. We are tried to raise approximately 1.5 million through a SAFE with a valuation cap set at 15 million. And initially, it's just to get these contracts executed, sustain our growth, and accelerate our growth, and also have a development implementation for our SaaS product as well. And the physician group expenses are also a big part of that. We do have some partnerships and affiliations we're excited to work with, and we do plan to continue to work with them for a long period of time. I do want to summarize right there and say thank you so much for having me here. I'd like to thank Matter, and for all of you that are here. If you have any questions, please feel free to come to the virtual room. I'd be happy to talk. We're excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samer. And up next, we have Kevin from MediWhale.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Choi, CEO of MediWhale. MediWhale's mission is to conquer cardiometabolic challenges through one retina scan. We are addressing the biggest problem in the US, which is cardiometabolic disease. The number of people suffering from it is quite high and increasing. Over 130 million people are suffering from diabetes, and 120 million are suffering from hypertension. The cost of each complication is a significant burden to the US society, with over $500 billion spent on treating cardiovascular disease, and over $100 billion spent on chronic kidney disease. The diagnostic market size for cardiometabolic disease is approximately $10 billion, with an annual growth rate is 3.9%. So metabolic syndrome, including diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and dyslipidemia, causes vascular problems that affect human organs and lead to complications such as cardiovascular disease, stroke, chronic kidney disease, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. As the number of metabolic syndrome cases keeps increasing rapidly, cardiometabolic disease is becoming the biggest challenges in the world. So to conquer cardiometabolic challenge, we are focusing on the retina, which is the only organ that can observe blood vessels without invasive method in the human body. We have succeeded in developing AI to identify future cardiovascular and metabolic diseases precisely in a 30-second scan. So MediWhale has established the foundation of early diagnosis. Currently, we have 4 product lines to treat cardiometabolic disease. The first and major product is RetiCVD, a prognostic solution for cardiovascular disease. It has shown comparable accuracy with CT scan-based CAC score and has been validated in top-tier medical journals. It is currently in the commercialization stage in Korea. And the second product is RetiCVD, an eye diagnostic solution, which is also in the commercialization stage in Korea. RetiCKD is a chronic kidney disease prognostic solution, and RetiCOPD is a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease prognostic solution. These 2 products are showing better accuracy than existing tests and are in the pre-stage of commercialization. So RetiCVD, our major product, has been validated using vast retina data, and its recognition in top-tier medical journals underscores its credibility. It has been validated with a multinational and multi-ethnicity data set, and the number of longitudinal data set is over 216,000 from Korea, Singapore, UK, and the US. Clinical evidence from those credible data set has been published in the top-tier medical journals like the Lancet Digital Health and the European Heart Journal. And this graph is the most promising part of RetiCVD algorithm, which was published in the Lancet Digital Health. RetiCVD shows comparable accuracy with a cardiac CT-based CAC score to predict 5 years cardiovascular disease events. It means that without radiation, without complex patient journey, metabolic patients deserve a very accurate cardiovascular test through just one retinal eye scan. For these advantages, RETI-CVD is a game-changing cardiovascular marker. Compared to existing tests like CAC by CT scan or CIMT by ultrasound, RETI-CVD is more safe, affordable, accessible, and accurate. These value propositions have enabled us to achieve rapid market penetration in Korea. RETI-CVD was designated a breakthrough device at the end of 2020 and received medical device approval in August 2022. It has secured a reimbursement code as the first case of AI for our patients, and we are achieving fast customer acquisition in the primary care market. Our business model is pay-per-use clinic. We are selling and installing our product with major camera brands. After adoption, doctors are charging patients who then claim it from private payers. RETI-CVD's indication for use is a test for metabolic patients, and it is at the discretion of physicians. So payers should reimburse the fee. As over 80% of Korean families have private insurance, it is a very powerful reimbursement code. In the last 4 months, we have sold our product to 120 clinics or hospitals. Out of these, 100 clinics were physicians or eye clinics, while the remaining 20 were large checkup centers with at least 50,000 subjects annually for each center. We also installed one hospital, which is the biggest hospital in Korea. And Medway is preparing an FDA submission, enhancing clinical evidence, and expanding to the US clinical network. We are targeting to submit the FDA submission in 2024 and expect to get FDA approval in the second quarter of 2025. We are securing strong clinical evidence using the largest cardiovascular cohort in the US, and the preliminary results were very promising. At the same time, we are expanding our clinical network, including Mayo Clinic and large cardiology hospital in Arkansas. And Medway is opening a Series B2 round from strategic investors. The amount is $15 million, and we are targeting to close in March 2024. A multinational medical device company has verbally committed $5 million. We are seeking other investors for sales partnership, clinical partnership, or other purposes like companion diagnostics or research. And that's it. Thanks for listening, and please don't hesitate and let me know in the virtual meeting room after this session if you have any question. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Up next, we'll have Gerald from RxE2.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. And I want to thank Matter for this opportunity. I'd like to start out by asking each of you to think about when you see disruption after it's successful, you all know it. It's very easy to see. But what I'm going to give you the opportunity right now is to see disruption in its early stage. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm Gerald Finken, and I'm CEO of RxE2, and I'm a pharmacist, and that's going to be critical to this. 40 years ago, when I graduated pharmacy school, I worked directly to Bristol Myers Squibb, where I worked there for 12 years, where I got into the clinical supplies and raised to the point where I was responsible for the worldwide global clinical supplies, making sure that all clinical trials were supplied and handled. But it wasn't enough. So what I did is I went out and started my own company because I thought I could do it better. And I bootstrapped that for 20 years, growing that to 2 locations in the US with 150 employees. But in bootstrapping that, my checkbook wasn't strong enough to actually get into Europe, where I needed to be a global company. And so what I did is I brought in private equity. And within 2 years, we had our 2 top-line acquisitions in Europe, and then sold to a publicly traded company for $240 million. Now, most of us would say you could be done, but that's not me. My passion in this, my passion for the practice of pharmacy and for the industry to solve, there are too many problems in the industry that we need to solve, and that's what I'm about right now. So let's start by saying clinical trials. If I mention clinical trials to you, do you realize that currently 9 out of 10 drugs, when they're submitted to the FDA, don't get approved first time? Now, this is the pharmaceutical industry. You're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute. We have all these drugs on the market, but 9 out of 10 fail. And so this is really, when I think about the quality and the regulations and stuff, is not acceptable. And there's reasons why. Some of the reasons that most people talk about is that the recruitment failures, that we don't get enough patients into clinical trials. 40% of the trials fail because patients aren't adherent. In other words, they don't take the drugs the way they're supposed to. 85% of the trials don't keep patients in the trial, staying on the medication to the completion of the trial. And today, another key factor is that we don't represent the population, globally, that only 25% of diverse populations are involved. So I look at this and say, well, wait a minute, why is that? There's a root cause. And to me, this is the reason. Pharmacists aren't involved. So I want to start by saying, wait a minute, as a pharmacist, when I say pharmacist, what does that mean to you? Is it someone that does this? Or is it the person who gave you your last vaccine and solved the COVID epidemic globally by vaccinating the world? That's the pharmacist that I'm talking about. And so if you think about it today, you have an illness, you go to a doctor, you get assessed and diagnosed, the doctor gives you a prescription, you go to your pharmacist. And the pharmacist is the one that dispenses that medication, works with you with concomitant meds, make sure there's no drug-drug interactions, works with the doctor to make sure you get the best health care possible. And what I'm saying to you is in clinical research today, that role doesn't exist. There's no chief pharmacy officer in clinical research today. RxE2 is about to change that. And we're doing this by creating what we're going to be calling the first pharmacy research organization out there. And what we're going to do is we're going to work with the community, independent community pharmacies all across the country. And that represents 50% of the pharmacies as we know them today. And we're going to involve them in clinical trials to deliver a myriad of services to be able to provide clinical trial opportunities to patients everywhere. Now, when you think about this, I talked about the doctor, patient, pharmacist triad. In clinical research today, there are thousands of doctors providing clinical research. So the same thing then is we need thousands of pharmacists to participate so that patients everywhere can get involved in clinical trials. And that's where the backbone that we come in. So we have services that we're going to go after first and foremost, like the practice of pharmacy, the counseling, recruitment, dispensing, because that's the low-hanging fruit to solve the problems that we just talked about recruitment, about the adherence, compliance, retention. These are all circling around what a pharmacist does. And of course, to do that, we need the platform, a technology such that pharmacists everywhere can easily go into a platform and deliver clinical trial services, such as counseling, recruiting patients into the clinical trial, dispensing the medication, and collecting the data to be able to do that in their day-to-day workflow. And that's extremely important. Today, we're already working with pharma companies, one large pharma and top 10 pharma and the CROs. We have 3,600 pharmacies across the US already uploaded with their data on our platform. We have over 3 million patients with 30 million patient records in our database that we're working with today to be able to recruit patients, counsel patients, and dispense medication to them. To do that, of course, you have a platform. The platform consists of several aspects. One is the marketplace. That is where a simple place where a pharmacist can easily just log on and participate in the clinical trial. And it has to work instantly. A pharmacist works in 2-minute increments. If you don't keep a pharmacist busy those 2 minutes, they're on to the next prescription. So they can log on, and everything from uploading their data, training, identifying patients for clinical trials is all very easily accessible. And of course, that requires a background of the protocol being entered. And that's the work we do in the study preparation. But most importantly of all this, it's going to be the data that's being collected, has been collected before. The real world data, the real world evidence that's going to drive this through our AI-enabled technology to make it better and better for the pharmacists to conduct clinical trials and provide services. And in the future, when pharmacies become sites, which is our ultimate goal, to be able to have a patient-facing app so that we can collect behavioral aspects and real-time data to continue the collection of data and providing clinical trial services for everyone, everywhere. So, of course, there's benefits to all stakeholders. Most importantly, for the sponsor company, who's the payer, it's going to be about accelerating timelines, addressing the 9 out of 10 failures, addressing the recruitment and retention and adherence problems that they're faced with, which is really all about decreasing the cost to develop these wonderful drugs. For the pharmacists, first and foremost, they have an opportunity now to give a better healthcare option to their patients, especially in the underserved represented populations. And of course, to increase revenue, which is critical today. And for patients, it's for all of us to be thinking about that we could be participating in clinical trials as a care option and not have to travel to an academic institution to be able to participate. And of course, we have competition out there. There are companies that have talked about it. And I want to point out that most of the companies that would seem to be competitors are really siloed, where we're the first company with a platform that really is very unique to be the first company that has pharmacists delivering clinical trial services, and it's on a single platform. So in other words, all these services are in one place for the pharmacy and of course for sponsors to get reports from, data to be collected that has never been done before, and we're the first company doing it. And I need to point out, which is very critical, we're HIPAA compliant, GDPR compliant, Part 11 compliant, and ISO certified. Critical pieces you need in a platform in today's world to be able to deliver clinical trial services. As a team, everybody wants to say, what's your team look like? I've surrounded myself with the best possible team members I could get. We have over 150 years of experience of technology and services. So it's technology-enabled services, or I should say operations, to be able to deliver the future of clinical trials. This team is already delivering these services that I'm talking about. Very excited to be working with them. Now, I'm not asking if something we're going to do, it's something we're already doing. So we've already completed 9 recruitment trials. We have an active recruitment trial today. So as I speak to you, pharmacists are getting patients involved in clinical trials. We have pharmacists dispensing investigational drug to patients. They're still active because they're more long-term contracts. So we're already delivering on 2 of the 3 services we're going to deliver. And what I want to say is this is not, it's a de-risking. With every study we learn, with every study we're participating in, we're collecting data and learning and growing, such that in 2 short years, we went from $0.2 million in revenue to we're going to be over $1.3 million in revenue this year. We're going to go to 5 next year and to 3 times that the following year, based upon these very simple services, all enabled by the technology platform and the data that we're going to collect. Now, where we are today is we've raised $4 million of a $5 million round. O'Leary Ventures is our lead investor. This is all for equity. And for this, what we're going to do is for the $5 million, it gives us the runway to get to our Series A late 4th quarter of next year. And we're going to get the $5 million of revenue. Again, it's very simple to bring on top 10 pharma companies. We're already in discussions. We already have our strategic partnerships lined up. And of course, the idea is to get more pharmacies on our platform to deliver our service to a greater population. So where I am today is I need you to help me close out this round, hoping that you see the vision before everybody else. Join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Up next, we will have Keith from Secure.
I'm Keith Marks, founder of Secure. We are a disruptive AI-enabled virtual care cloud set. And by disruptive, I mean we're different. We may sound like many of the other types of products that you've heard and seen on the marketplace, but we were founded in 2020, pre-COVID, to deliver virtual care in a platform that is patient-forward and portal-driven. When I went to create this with several other people, my previous experience had been both as a founder and exit within practice management systems and an early creator of portable EMR systems. And while EMR is now well set within the ambulatory space, what we have is a situation where telehealth exploded during COVID in a way that was unstructured and not forward-thinking. So the problem that we saw, the problem that I saw, is that currently there are 41 million uninsured people in the United States, of which 1 in 5 live in rural areas. There are over 56 million Americans who live in these rural communities, and they comprise 20% of the US population. On average, a rural resident is older, they have more conditions, they need more care, and yet they have less access to it, both in insurance and in available primary care physicians. Federal studies in 2019 said that nearly 80% of rural America is medically underserved. And rural patients obviously have to travel longer to go to healthcare. They need even farther for subspecialists, and this can be a burden upon them that is very costly and contributes to the underserved community. So when I looked at the problem, I saw what was going on with products like those doctors in a box, in which a patient was not provided with anything more than a link and a connection and a face. They had a doctor, they talked to the doctor, and they were done. And that's pretty much how a lot of telehealth is delivered today. But the solution that I created, knowing how EMR systems work, knowing how practice management systems work, was a different way. The different way is to create a portal that can sit and talk to and be HIPAA compliant, secure, with patient health information that sits on top of any existing EMR. And having been in the EMR business, I know how resistant physicians are to moving from one solution set to another. We are disruptive by not disrupting the way the physician practices. We enable them to do what MDLive and others are doing, but with their existing systems that they have today. We are HIPAA auditable. We provide PHI information. We connect to in a hybrid way to their systems so that we can get both scheduling happening within our portal for virtual visits and make it available so that they know those schedules for inpatient. We have advanced secure communication in which the office can talk to the patient either in secure chat or in quick virtual sessions and face-to-face communication. And then we have virtual healthcare. And when we deliver virtual healthcare, it's again forward-facing, where a patient can have any access to any physician on the network. That physician brings them into the waiting room. They're seen, they're taken care of. And from the physician side, we're using AI technology to take the entire episode, transpose it to a transcript, which then uses AI for charting and puts it into a EHR, EMR compliant H&P or E&M proper visit. This is then transferred back to their EMR system without the patient and physician having to do anything. We have the capability of both patient remote vitals through devices like Fitbit and FDA remote vitals that the provider can prescribe to the patient. And we provide, and we'll talk about that on the next slide, to the patient a capability, and this is very important for remote patients in rural areas who don't get to see their doctor very often. We have digital assistants who are trained in AI. So what is the rural patient value proposition? Why would a rural patient love to have their physician use a system like this sitting on top of their practice management and EMR system? Well, for one thing, we do have, as mentioned in Samir, we do have a trained AI bot that is conversational and is trained on accredited medical sites and wellness sites that were selected and used, and our LLM is built by our medical professionals and our CMO. And we are building in with the bot the ability for a personal health journey guidance. The physician, typically, if you go to a doctor's office, will give you instructions. They'll give you information on medication compliance. You may be going to a specialist and have pre and post-op instructions, wound care instructions. These can be loaded into the system and made available to our bot so that in a conversational mode, after the patient gets home and forgets where they put their paperwork, they can talk to them on the portal and have an entire conversation following and asking and getting the instructions. So in addition to that, every patient then has a accumulated health record that they can go and they can see, not just for the specific doctor, but for all the doctors that they see. And lastly, it is web-based, no downloads, built on, for those in the techie side, built on React.js. It's very lightweight, doesn't require heavy bandwidth, which is very important for rural areas. Quickly, this is just one simple type of clinician flow. From any device, a patient can look at their scheduling, they can get reminders, they can be in a waiting room, and then they go to the secure video session, while automatically we are providing in the background at the conclusion a AI provider note. So the physician can go on to the next patient, whether it's in their office or through secure in a virtual way. We have automated follow-ups, and then we have traditional and, as I mentioned, AI messaging, as our digital assistant can talk and pass information back and forth to the patient. So what is our value proposition? Our value proposition is that today's, even after COVID, yes, there's a lot of telehealth out there, but there's also scheduling. There's scheduling programs, there's scheduling in the EMR, there's standalone remote patient management, there are EMR patient management. There's workflow tools, and then there are telehealth or doctor-in-a-box type products. What we provide is a patient-forward unified platform at a low cost that allows physicians and patients in rural communities to communicate and be treated in a common, easy-to-use platform. Where are we today? We currently are targeting and have close to 4,700 physicians in Kentucky and Georgia in the pipeline. We are working with a care provider company called WellCare AI that is working on a patient per month model. And we are working with other groups for membership-based types of connectivity to our system. Our current ARR is at 1.63 million, and our projected in 5 years is at 142.8. Our competition, as I talked before, are really, there is no direct competition to secure that I know of, although I'm sure there are some out there, but we are patient portal, HIPAA compliant, PHA compliant virtual care provider that sits on existing systems. Yes, there's Teladoc and MDLive, but we enable physicians in their practices to be a force multiplier and to be the doc for their practice and for their patients instead of sourcing it out to others. During COVID, there were tons of low-end, low-cost systems that basically just provide a HIPAA compliant video stream. Again, we have PHI the patient has all their information. And then on the high end, which we are not in direct competition with, there's Epic and MyChart. Our team, I'm a 40-year IT professional. I've been in healthcare in founding both billing and practice management EMR systems since the 90s. I've had several healthcare companies that have started to exit. Our chief medical officer is Dr. Padilla, who is a well-esteemed EMR physician and actually was my mentor at Matter and was so impressed with what we're doing. He wanted to be part of the company. And I do have one lead investor from Chicago. So what are we looking for? We're looking for $3 million in this round, Angel A, a seed A, I'm sorry, with a 14-month runway. What we plan to do with that money is increase revenues from 163 current to 15 million ARR. We expect to be cash flow positive by the end of next year with an EBITDA of 1 million. We also, in that 14-month period, plan to have 25,000 paid healthcare physicians with an estimated 1 million patients registered on our portal. How we will do that, and part of the use of fund, is in heavy digital and direct sales programs within the rural healthcare marketplace. And again, our financials are all audited and available for anyone who's interested. And I thank you. Thank you very much. And I look forward to talking to anyone who's interested in more detail in the room.
Thank you, Keith. And our final presentation will be from Brian from MindU.
As Al mentioned, my name is Brian Brazda from MindU, and here to introduce you today to MyEleanor. MyEleanor is an artificial intelligence voice bot that has been trained to have clinical conversations with patients. Two significant advancements in artificial intelligence technology really go into our platform. We've been working on for the last 8 years, started in 2015, with voice analytics, which is the ability to listen to what we call at MindU the music of the human voice to detect changes in health. We've also leveraged advancements in conversational AI, specifically transformers, that have brought our ability to bring these two technologies together and deliver the only solution in healthcare that is doing both of those things, advanced conversational AI and voice analytics, which gives us the ability to not only just have a conversation and relay clinical information to patients and listen to what they say, but most importantly, how they say it. And again, that goes to the music of the human voice that we're listening to. Our original training models were based on conversations between occupational therapists and patients. So our inspiration was Eleanor Clark Slagle. That's why we've chosen the name Eleanor, who was the pioneer of occupational therapy and social work. And what that gives us the ability to do is really help manage patients in the most complex conversations that we need to have with them. Most, if not all, conversational AI tools that are in the space today are really focused on inbound and reactive call center automation, frequently asked questions, physician searches, registration, scheduling appointments, refilling medications, mostly patients calling us, calling providers, and calling health plans with their needs. But what our technology is doing is really helping providers and health plans solve the more complex side, post-care support, medication management and adherence, and really all things population health and care management, so that we can significantly impact the cost curve. And we can reduce total cost of care, we can reduce avoidable hospitalizations, we can reduce readmissions, the things that are really driving the significant costs in the system. Our start, interestingly enough, was Ronald Reagan. Our co-founder, chief technology officer that started designing this technology in 2015, has a PhD in astrophysics and neuroscience. when he was doing his PhD work in neuroscience, he was studying the correlation between changes in our health, both physically and mentally, and changes in our voice. And really what he discovered was that through his initial algorithms that he was working on in his PhD work is there is an absolute correlation, direct correlation between the changes in what we call the complexity of our voice and changes in our health. And one of his proof points was he took every speech that President Reagan delivered to Congress from 1981 to 1993. 1993 was the year that it was publicly announced that unfortunately Ronald Reagan was suffering from Alzheimer's, and found that there was a significant deterioration in the complexity of his voice. Again, the music of the voice, the speed, the tone, the intonation, the way that we say things, the emotion behind how we say things, the context which we say things has a direct correlation to changes in our health. In order to build our models and really make this into a product we needed to solve that complex part of the patient journey, the proactive outbound phone calls that nurses and care managers and care navigators and physicians make to patients to help them recover at home, to help them post-surgery, to help them in care management, to help drive care pathways. And there's 4 significant things that need to occur in order to successfully make a proactive outbound phone call. One is it has to be personalized to each individual. We have to have specific information in that phone call that's relevant to that specific patient. We also have to be able to recall all the previous conversations that we've ever had with that patient and address them in future calls. So our technology has memory recall in it as well. And most specifically, all of our models are clinically trained on thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of conversations between providers and patients, so that we can help engage patients into conversations that they would typically have with nurses and doctors and care managers, etc. So let me introduce you to Eleanor.
Hello. Hi, James. This is Eleanor calling from Main Street Health. I'm calling today to check in and see if there is anything I can help you with. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing okay. The pain from my surgery is getting better, but I still have some trouble walking around.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm going to ask you some questions to see if there are things the care team can help you with. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
Are you taking your prescribed medication regularly?
I'm trying to, but lately I found that I haven't been doing so good with that.
I'm sorry to hear that. Can you share more details?
Yeah, my fridge broke, so I have nowhere to keep my medicine. The pharmacist told me it should be refrigerated.
Okay, I'll make note of that and share it with your care team. Are there any other things in your day-to-day life that you need help with?
I'd say that it's hard to move around, so I don't want to go anywhere or do anything. Even make myself something to eat most days.
I understand. Do you receive any services to help you, such as Meals on Wheels, or have access to transportation services?
No, but I would like to.
Okay, I will pass this information on to your care team so that someone can help address your needs.
Sure, that sounds really good. I honestly wasn't sure how to get help. I'm happy we got to talk.
Thank you, James, for your cooperation today and sharing this important information with me. Your care team will be following up with you on your needs. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
So the most significant part of the technology and what we've developed is really everything that you don't hear in that conversation. And that really happens in the middle bucket of our platform during the call, which is the art of listening and the voice analytics and really hearing the music of the patient's voice. Before the call, there's significant engineering that goes into how we get a hold of that patient, how we engage the patient, what we know about the patient. During the call, you can hear some significant pieces of the technology, like when James says that he's not really doing so good with his medication. Our system knows that that's a negative response and to follow up and to probe further. He also says he's having a hard time making myself something to eat most days. Eleanor knows that that's a food access issue, a nutrition issue. So she can follow up and ask things like, do you have services of Meals on Wheels? Can I help you with that? We can direct that information, all of that information after the call to the care team in a very succinct way so that they can manage it quickly and efficiently and get James the right help that he needs in order to recover at home post-surgery. We do a number of transitional care management or post-discharge management programs for both health plans and health systems. This is one example that I share with you today from one hospital, from one of the health systems that we work with. A few hundred patients are discharged each month from inpatient, from ED, from outpatient. We get a daily discharge list of patients. We call those patients, we set up their follow-up visits, but then we also engage them in 30-day monitoring, and we have conversations just like you heard the one with James. Just in a few short months of launching that program, we significantly reduced their readmission rate. And right now we're tracking about a $3 million savings for just one hospital for just their readmissions. And now we're expanding those programs across longitudinal care management and a number of other programs for them. We're doing a diabetes management program as well, just simply by the simplicity of having a phone call with a patient. Broadly, these are the programs that we're running in the sector today for both, again, health plans as well as health systems, which really can be bucketed in these 6 areas. Our cost model is pretty straightforward. It's somewhere between $3 and $7 per member or per patient per month, based on the particular program that any patient is enrolled in with Eleanor. Right now, we are closing our Series A and seeking commercial opportunities as well as future investor partnerships to follow in our Series A and then future fundraising rounds. Right now, we are we have an ARR of just over $1 million with projected for our current contracts of $3.5 million next year, and then significant growth beyond. For more info, I'm going to stick around in the Q&A sessions after, as well as my email and my LinkedIn profile here, which will send these slides out, I'm sure. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Brian. And I just want to give another thank you to the entire third class of Momentum for presenting today. If you would like to get in touch with any of them and you don't get their contact information in the networking sessions after this, you can always reach out to us at momentum@matter.health, and we are more than happy to help facilitate those introductions. But before we end the main part of today's program, our lead mentors have a few closing remarks. So Pam and Jason.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here. Thank you, Elle, and thanks everybody for great presentations. And you know, this last presentation with this AI persona, Eleanor speaking with a patient, just really drives home the point that this is really impactful work that these companies are doing, and it's so important to Matter and to me and Jason and the whole team to really help these companies grow. And so in this accelerator, part of what we did was to help them think about taking their company to the next stage, building their sales team and exit planning. And, frankly, a lot of what we do is just to help them see who they are. These are powerful individuals, and how to powerfully share what they're doing so that they can continue growing and really making a difference. So we can do that only if these founders are really willing to work with us and with Matter and to integrate our collective feedback. So all of these companies grew enormously during this program, which I think speaks volumes of what you can expect to see from them in the future. So I just want to thank each one of the companies for the privilege of working with you, and thank Jason for being, my partner in crime, and thank Matter for offering this wonderful program.
could not say anything better myself other than to personally, again, thank these founders and CEOs of this journey for trusting us. And we look forward to continue to work with you and be watching from the sidelines or helping out as much as you need on the amazing journey you're continuing to forge. So thank you very much.